A 16-year-old girl in Florida has been arrested and is facing federal charges because of a science experiment gone wrong. Now, this student is from Polk County Schools in Florida specifically, and she put some household chemicals into a water bottle to see what would happen. Now, she was on campus, and she was thinking that this would result into some smoke, but it actually exploded. Now, the explosion did not cause any property damage. No one got hurt. She didn't leave the water bottle and walk away. This wasn't like a terrorist attempt. It was just a science project gone wrong. However, it doesn't matter. She has been charged with possession, discharge of a weapon on school property, and discharging a destructive device. Now, that's the student that is facing these charges.
How dare you do your homework assignment and do an actual experiment? Now we're arresting people for it as a student who was trying hard to do the right thing?
Now, the student is Kira Wilmont, and the principal of the school thinks this is absolutely ridiculous. He says that she has been an exemplary student and that she had a very bright future ahead of her, but now the school has been forced to expel her, and who knows what's going to happen to her in the future now. This is a student who had intellectual curiosity, and of course, our police state comes in and stomps on it, right? Oftentimes we talk about, oh, why don't Americans have intellectual curiosity? It's because we're encouraged not to.
Yeah, this is outrageous. I mean, look, there's got to be some sort of movement effort to make sure that they expunge the arrest, that they put her back in school. I mean, to take a bright young woman who was actually trying hard and to snuff out her educational pursuits and to throw her out of school, it's beyond outrageous. And how's this for one final irony? You know, the West Texas plant, the fertilizer plant, exploded, killed how many people? Was it about 16 people or so? I think around over 150 injured, blew up a school, a nursing home nearby, all those homes, etc. The owner of the plant, which, by the way, had stored, I believe, over 100 times the amount allowed of fertilizer and explosive material in there. Gross violation of regulations, safety regulations that apparently were necessary. Not arrested. That giant explosion, the guy who was negligent and caused it, not arrested. This young student trying to do a chemistry experiment, arrested. What it is power versus powerless. If you're powerful, you can blow up any fertilizer plant you like. People die, all those people get injured. Oh, it was just an accident. If you're not powerful and you were trying to do the right thing, you were doing an experiment, something went a little wrong, you're under arrest, you're expelled, get out of here. That's how this country, unfortunately, has developed into working. We gotta fix it, man. They're crushing us.
Yeah, they are crushing us, and this is a perfect example of the school to prison pipeline, where minority kids are being taken from schools and they're being put in the prison system because of ridiculous offenses like this. It was a mistake. It was a science project gone wrong. I feel so sick to my stomach for this girl. I mean, she had a bright future ahead of her. Who knows what's going to happen to her now? No, we need to raise awareness about this kind of stuff. This is freaking ridiculous. Amy Meyer from Utah was on a public street right next to a slaughterhouse when she noticed that a cow that was extremely sick was being moved around by a tractor. Now, she pulled out her smartphone, as I believe anyone else would do, and she started taking video of it. Now, because of the fact that she did that, she will face prosecution thanks to an ag-gag bill that was passed in Utah. Now, the law states that you are not allowed to record any type of agricultural process. Okay, so that means slaughterhouses. I guess if something shady is happening on a farm, you're not allowed to tape that, even if you're on public land. Okay, which, by the way, the ACLU perfectly notes that that is unconstitutional. We'll get to that in a second. But this is something that's popping up throughout the country. There are at least half a dozen states that have proposed similar legislation, and it's a way to make sure that we don't hold slaughterhouses accountable for any type of animal abuse or anything that they could possibly be doing that could put our health in jeopardy.
Now, think about the legislation in the first place. You're not allowed to tape things that are going wrong in a business. Why?
Even if you're on public land and what they're doing is in plain sight, which is what happened here. Now, when the cops were called, by the way, they had told the police, the people who were running the slaughterhouse, that she tried to jump their barbed wired fence. And the police said, Yeah, no, that actually didn't happen. We don't see any damage to the fence, so we don't believe you.
But they arrested her anyway.
Yes.
Because there's the ag gag bill, and they're like, how dare you try to be a good citizen and record something going wrong and animals being possibly abused? I mean, it's mind-bending that we have laws that say that you can't show something going wrong. Why? Of course, the people who pass the laws are the ones who got donations from the guys running those factories. In fact, in Utah, it was that farm's owner who helped push the legislation through so that he could never be held accountable.
I did more research on that, Cenk, and that slaughterhouse's owner is the mayor of the town that she's in.
He's the mayor of the town. He pushes through a bill that says nobody can tape or, and hence criticize my slaughterhouse. Well, isn't that convenient? I believe, by the way, if you're a conservative, that's called crony capitalism, right? Giving an unfair advantage to one particular company. And in this case, the company that the mayor happens to own.
This is disastrous for a number of different reasons. Even if you don't care about animal abuse and that's not something that you're that interested in, think about the implications it'll have on the media, right? So there are some bills proposed that actually extend to companies, private industry, not just agriculture, right? So all of a sudden, journalists aren't able to hold private companies accountable if there's corruption or something shady going on. Yeah, no, you're not allowed to tape it, you're not allowed to ask any questions, move along.
Now, if you can't tape inside of a farm, a slaughterhouse, whatever it is, what stops them from saying, well, that's a company, I'm also going to prevent you from taping inside a restaurant. And so if you happen to see rats in the restaurant, you're not allowed to tape it, otherwise you'll be arrested. Nothing stops them. Right. If you can't tape inside a bank, you can't tape inside any business. If you say, and if you can't tape inside of it, what, can you say anything bad against the business? I mean, how far down the road of fascism are we going to go? I mean, it sounds alarmist to say fascism, but here it is, corporations or companies saying you're not allowed to criticize us, and the state says yes, absolutely.
You're not allowed to hold companies accountable, which is ridiculous. So what is the ACLU?
What if you were inside that fertilizer plant and you saw in West Texas, and you saw that they had so much more explosive material in there than they were allowed to have, by an order of magnitude, 100 times more, 1,000 times more, and you recorded it, and because for safety reasons? No. I mean, if they could shut you down from recording inside a farm, they could certainly shut you down at a fertilizer plant. Yeah. That isn't very different, right? You would have saved all those lives. No. But you might have cost that business an extra buck, so the government will arrest you. Is it possible? Well, it's already happening.